Hi, I'm Brandon, and this time I'm taking another look at Chuck Harding's segment. I was going to read from his wiki page to get a bit of background on him, but it was so graphic and disturbing, I don't think there's like a single word I could read without the YouTube censors coming down on me. So we'll just skip to here to the sting and see what happens when Chuck Harding shows up at the house. So here we have another guy in the list of predators wearing really bad t-shirts. It's a map of California. Just seems like an odd choice.
Yeah.
What are you whispering about? If you're pretty sure you're here alone, there's no need to whisper. I don't think the neighbors are going to hear you from inside here.
Hey, hold on a second. I gotta finish brushing my teeth, okay?
Okay.
And obviously he's known as being one of the oldest predators. I think, was he either the oldest or second oldest or third oldest? There was a Lyons, whatever that guy's name is. I can't remember his first name. There's him, and then Thomas Campbell. I think we're the oldest guys. Robert Lyons, that's his name. What? He's just like, what's he playing around with that curtain for?
I gotta finish brushing my teeth, okay?
Okay.
It's like he's keeping his hand on the curtain just in case he needs to make a quick getaway.
So we're gonna go get a camera?
He's just like not even answering. This decoy asked you a question, and he's just completely ignoring him.
We'll check around here, okay? Hey, how are you?
Talk about shocked. Yeah, I guess what you found when you checked around. I don't know why that seems so disturbing to me. Like on its like face value, it maybe shouldn't be so disturbing, but it just is. I'm just gonna take a look around, okay? And it's the fact that he didn't even answer the decoy's question. Like, he doesn't even see them as a human. They're just a victim. He couldn't care less what they're saying. He's just like, I'm going to take a look around, see if I can find anything suspicious. And he doesn't ask. He just says he's going to do it.
We'll check around here, okay? Hey, how are you? Okay. Why don't you
Yeah, he's
sit
scared.
right around that stool there for me? Okay. What you up to today?
Nothing. I had a
Go ahead,
call.
have a seat.
Call. You talk to a gentleman.
A gentleman.
Yeah, you could tell he's nervous. He's breathing heavy. He's not speaking properly. He just says, call. Talk to a gentleman.
Yeah. So,
You had a call to talk to a gentleman.
yeah, he told me to come on in and talk to him about possibly selling the house or something.
Selling the house.
Yeah, I have a place that I have for sale.
So if you're selling a house, wouldn't the person interested in buying it come to your house so that they could see the house that they're trying to buy? What's the point of you going to their house?
Oh, you're selling a house. I
And
see.
he was interested.
And how did you get in contact with the fellow who wanted to perhaps
A guy named John Pedersen called me and gave me his number.
buy the house you're selling
We were chatting on the internet.
on the internet? And who's the fellow you were going to see?
He said his name was Luke. I don't know what his last name.
Luke.
So you're chatting with some guy named Luke. You don't know his last name, talking on the internet. He says, hey, I'm interested in buying your house. Or Chuck says, hey, I have a house for sale. This guy's like, yeah, I'm interested in buying it. Why don't you come over to my house to discuss it? And then Chuck left. Okay. It's not as bad as JPW's story, but it's still pretty bad.
And you talked to Luke about selling him your home.
Right.
Not to mention, if that story is true and he came over here to meet some guy that he doesn't know, some guy named Luke, doesn't know his last name, they've never met before, wouldn't he think that Chris Hansen might be this Luke guy? So if this story is true, wouldn't the natural thing, as soon as he saw him, be like, oh, hi, you must be Luke. I'm the guy, I'm Chuck. I talked to you on the phone. Something like that. So the fact that he just doesn't think that the man in this house, that he was supposedly coming to talk to a man in this house, is not the one he was talking to, shows that his story is full of shit.
Well, here's what doesn't make sense about that. How is a 13-year-old going to afford to buy your home?
Well, I didn't know how old he was. I didn't stop to ask his age.
You
You
didn't
didn't have to because he told you.
ask his age.
No. You know,
He just like shrugs and makes a face. I don't know what to tell you.
I just thought he was interested because I'd had it listed.
You just thought he was interested? If he was, he would have said, "Hey, I'm interested in buying your house." How could you just think he's interested? If you never mentioned it, why would you assume that he's interested and then drive to his house?
And he says, I understand you have a place for sale, so.
Really? And where is the home you're selling?
Down in Anaheim.
In Anaheim. Right next to Disney World there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Disneyland.
And
Yes,
how much are you selling it for?
$25,000.
$25,000. That's quite the bargain.
So it's a mobile home.
It's a mobile home.
Isn't that, I know this is 20 years ago, but isn't that insanely cheap for a mobile home? I don't know how much they go for, but I thought it was a hell of a lot more than $25,000, especially in the Los Angeles area.
3-bedroom mobile home.
Yeah. Well, Chuck, the only problem with that story is that
It's a lie.
I have the transcripts of your conversation with Luke.
Well, what do you have to say for yourself now, Charles? And really, he should have said, like, why would he use the name Luke? Because that just proves that I'm assuming he didn't think that Chris had the chat. But still, now it's like, well, now we have your chat with Luke. He should have just made up John Pedersen, some completely different name. And then when Chris brings this up, he could be like, hey, that's not me. That's because it's possible that two different people could show up at the same house for different reasons in a day. Obviously, it's still a lie. He's not going to get away with it, but just in his own interest of self-preservation, you think he would just put more effort into lying. I don't think Chuck had. I think some of the guys suspect it's a sting and they have some kind of bullshit story in their mind to try to defend themselves in the event that they get caught. I don't think Chuck did. I don't think Chuck. Well, I don't know. It's hard to say because he did say, "I want to look around." So maybe he did have this story in the back of his mind. I'll just tell him I'm here to talk about buying a house. And then as soon as he's confronted, the story breaks down because he didn't put enough thought into the details. But I don't know what was going through his head. Yeah, you could see him. He's just like, oh shit, he has the chat. He knows everything I said.
What are you looking for? I could be your grandpa. Into young boys your age. Love to cuddle with them, caress their body, work my... And it goes on from there.
Yeah, it definitely goes on. It was very graphic, very disgusting. The decoy even talked about they were being abused by an older family member, an uncle, and Chuck seemed to love that and had a lot of sick questions about it. Like, this guy is just one of the worst. He's just terrible.
You sure it's my
Yeah, we're sure it's yours.
CCHARD?
It's like, if this was someone else's chat, why are you sitting here? Why are you the one that showed up? You're not like a delivery man bringing a package that has some other reason to be at the house. You came there after having a chat with someone named Luke, and now they have that chat. So it's not going to be someone else.
Hard Chuck 1.
It's you.
I could find a young man to play with. Wish I could find a young man to play with. Wish I could cuddle you in my arms and kiss you and blank your blank.
And blank your blank.
Well, I have another person that uses my computer.
Another person.
Right.
So this other person used your computer to have this disgusting chat with a minor. And then somehow you wound up at their house? Or is it just in the biggest coincidence in the world, someone else was using your computer to have this chat, and the person on the other end of this chat just happened to be the same person that you were coming to sell your house to? I don't know, Chuck. Doesn't look good for you.
Is that another person, Chuck?
No, that's me.
That's you.
Oh, so I guess he sent a picture of himself. Uh-oh.
But, he has access to the computer.
Oh, so someone else has access to your computer, they pretended to be you, sent pictures of you, had a disgusting illegal chat with a minor, but somehow Chuck shows up at the house. Maybe he was just walking by. Maybe the guy that was using his computer went to the bathroom and Chuck just walked by, happened to glance at the screen and just saw an address. And he's like, you know what? This address is on my computer screen. I might just drive to this person's house, even though I don't know who they are, and see if they want to buy a house. Is that what your story is, Chuck?
Thanks. Would you like me to give you an exam? He asks if you're rich.
What kind of exam? Math exam? Like what? Biology? What are you talking about there, Chuck?
No, son. Rich only in love I have and the care for a young man.
And I just hate it. Even like, everything these guys do is bad, but when they try to frame it as they're in love, you know, that somehow they care about the decoy, like that just makes it even worse.
What do you do for a living, Chuck?
I'm retired now.
You're retired. But before you retired, what did you do for a living?
I was a professional predator for 40 years.
Working for the bus company down there in Orange County, driving the handicapped and disabled.
And before that?
I was with a travel agency for a couple of years, and then I was with a military travel agency for 5 years, and then I was a government employee with the Navy as travel.
Were you ever
He's had a lot of different jobs.
a teacher?
Not per se. I was when I was in the
Not per se. I think you're either a teacher or you're not.
religious life. I was studying to be a teacher in high school for photo offset printing at the Catholic High School.
And just the fact that he's like, okay, he was involved in some sort of religious group, some church. He wanted to become a teacher. He was also driving handicapped people around. Like he just seems like he actively tries to put himself around vulnerable people. Thank God he was never a teacher.
And when you say religious life,
Catholic Church, for the Catholic Church.
but what role did you play in
I was a
religious
brother.
life?
I was a brother.
You were a brother?
Yeah.
In what order?
The Society of St. Don Bosco.
And so you were a collared brother?
Well, we didn't wear collars. We wore a suit with a.
And like, I bet you he just joined that for access to minors. Like, Chuck's not a good person. Like, it's just like, man, like these religions, it's, you know, kind of hate to paint them all with the same brush, but it just seems like there's so many religious people that do this kind of thing. And I don't think it's necessarily the religion's itself, the church's fault, unless they're covering it up, then it is their fault. But maybe they just don't have strong enough guidelines to keep scumbags like this out of their church. Because I think people will actually just join the church just to be around young people, basically. Guaranteed Chuck did not join this group out of the goodness of his heart.
Cross. That was all. And
And I wonder what happened. I don't think anyone's ever figured out that story, because he said like he was trying to and he was part of this, but obviously at some point he either left, either they kicked him out, or he left on his own and he didn't actually become a teacher. So I wonder what happened there.
I was in my first set of vows. I had to go to Rome and ask for a dispensation.
Is this an appropriate conversation to have with somebody who said they were 30 years old?
Not really, no.
No, what do you mean not really? Like, not at all. This is worse than most of the predators have this kind of conversation.
Why did you have this conversation?
I'm not. It's I use CCHARD
Okay.
69.
Now you can go on with that story.
Yeah, there's no point. Like, the evidence is concrete. They don't do these things, especially the ones where the police are involved, and it's not incriminating. It's not like, yeah, maybe he said this, maybe it's someone else, we don't know, but we're just going to find random guys and try to pin it on them. No, you show up in this house, they know damn right well the exact reason you showed up. No one else was using your computer.
But I have the transcripts, and I have other evidence. So we can tell the truth here, or we can go on.
Yeah, no jury or judge would ever believe that someone else, Kevin from the base or whoever it was, someone else had this chat, and then somehow you're the one that showed up. That doesn't make sense.
Like you've been going on. It's up to you, really.
Well, he was in the gay chat room, so...
Oh, so now he's completely changing his story. Originally, he was saying that he didn't say that. And now he's saying, well, it's the decoy's fault because he was in the gay chat room. So if you find a minor in a gay chat room, you're just allowed to do whatever you want to them because they shouldn't be there to begin with. Just like if you find a minor in a bar, doesn't matter how old they are, they're not supposed to be in a bar, so they're open. It's open season on them. You can do whatever you want to them. Like, no, it's not a loophole in the law. If they're not supposed to be there, you should report them and not talk to them. Doesn't matter. Well, doesn't matter what chat room they're in. And we've heard a lot of other guys say that they were in an adult chat room. Like, so they shouldn't be there. Just because they're not supposed to be there doesn't mean you're allowed to do what you want. There's no reason these guys try to, like, maybe there's a loophole. Maybe if there's a certain phrase they could say, maybe they could get the decoy to just state that they're 18, even though they previously said they weren't. Maybe there's some way they could just circumvent the law and be allowed to do this without getting in trouble. There is no such way. And even if there was, you shouldn't do it because it's just wrong to do. But there's no reason. There's no way that you can trick or manipulate things or somehow, as long as you say or do this, then you're allowed to do it. No, it doesn't matter what chat room they're in. And don't blame the decoy. Fuck you, Chuck.
Yeah.
So it was okay to have this conversation with a 13-year-old boy?
We were talking, and, he's in the gay chat room.
And you singled him out. You saw his picture and saw his age and chose him as the person you were going to talk to. Then you had a very graphic discussion and you drove to his house. So stop trying to pretend that, like, somehow he was a willing participant in this just because he happened to be there. If they're there, you're allowed to prey on them. And it's equally their fault because they were just happened to be there and you can't help yourself. Is that his excuse?
He's looking for men if he's in the gay chat room.
Not like 65-year-old men or whatever the hell your age is.
That is where I help you grow, by showing you different ways to learn and let you see how I live and follow the rules and observe other people.
The fuck does that mean?
You can say I was your grandpa. This way no one knows but you and me.
Like, that is just so gross to frame it like that. And, like, they would have to, because, like, yeah, I think people would assume that. They would just assume that if they saw these two out in public that that's probably the boy's grandpa. He looks too old to be the dad. It's probably the grandpa. But, they would obviously have to be careful because anyone that knew what was going on and knew that they weren't related would probably report them, because call the cops, because that's just disgusting.
And who we want to know. Did you say that to this person?
Yeah, I said that I could be his grandpa, yes.
This is a very graphic conversation. But perhaps what's more graphic is that you sent pornographic pictures over the internet. Pictures that qualify for child pornography.
Yeah, so obviously that just immediately escalates it to a whole new level. Like, not only was he trying to do everything he's doing was bad, but now he's sending, like, CP over the internet to an underage person. Like, good God.
Yes or no?
Yeah, he said he was interested, so I sent.
Again, he's trying to blame it. These guys always do that. It's like, why did you send a picture of your dick to this person? Well, they wanted to see it. It's like, first of all, no, they didn't. You wanted to send it. The decoys never, ever, ever ask for it. And usually they say, if the predator's like, oh, do you want to see it? They'll usually say something like, yeah, if you want me to, or yeah, if you want to send it. Kind of, it's like, hey, it's your decision. Just so the guys don't have that excuse. And even if they didn't, even if the decoy wanted to, why are you doing something just because a young teenager tells you to? That is so inappropriate. If they want to see that, first of all, they could probably just find it themselves on the internet. They don't need you to send it. And you just tell them no. You shouldn't be talking to them to begin with. Like, obviously, they're just turned on by sending that kind of material, which just makes them extra fucking horrible people. And then they try to blame it on them. Well, they wanted to see it. Like, say no. You're goddamn grown up to say no to them.
Yes.
Pictures of you with underage
No,
boys.
it's not pictures of me. It's pictures I've gotten from other people.
You sent
Yeah, and he was after they arrested him, they searched his computer and they found all sorts of CP on there, and apparently he was part of like a ring of people sharing that kind of stuff. So
child to this 30-year-old Luke. Yes or no?
Yes, I sent photographs, but they're not of me.
it doesn't matter who they are. We've seen guys say this before. It wasn't mine. Who cares who it is? You're not allowed to send that stuff at all. You're not allowed to look at it, download it. It shouldn't exist to begin with. There's no possible way that there's a good side of this. Where, okay, as long as it's not you and it's someone else. What the hell? How could you possibly think that? That is horrible.
Or anyone that I was with.
It's child.
Yes.
Yeah, whoever is in the pictures or videos and however it was taken and wherever it was taken, doesn't matter the circumstances. It's absolutely wrong and illegal.
Do you see the problem with that, Chuck?
Well, yeah, he's underage. Yes, I see the age.
Something tells me he doesn't quite understand why this is wrong.
You know that it's illegal to send obscene material to someone who's underage or who you think is underage?
Not per se, no. I don't
Stop saying per se.
know. I didn't know that I don't.
Yeah, how could you possibly not know that that's illegal?
I know that it's, you're not, they're illegal.
Yeah. So then the answer to Chris's question would be yes, you are aware.
On certain, with children and things, yes.
You believed you were talking to a 30-year-old boy named Luke.
He didn't say he was 30.
Yes, he did.
Do you want me to show you the transcript, Chuck?
He said he told me he was older.
No, he did not.
You say, hi, we're in Southern California. I'm in Orange County. Do you want older or younger? Riverside, like older. 13, you?
Yeah, there you go.
You said it right here. You talk about you being able to appear to be his grandpa. Could you do me a favor and just take your hand out of your phone? Thanks. What would have happened, Chuck, if I hadn't been here?
I would have talked to him, and if I felt very uncomfortable, I would have left.
If you felt uncomfortable, you would have left? This guy is like, he's just an unrepentant predator. Who cares if you're comfortable? You're the 65-year-old man. This is a minor. You're coming over to their house when they're home alone, and he's worried, like, well, if I felt uncomfortable, I leave. There was no... When Chris came in, he was looking around the house. He's like, I'm going to take a look around. There is no way that Chuck was leaving that house until he got what he wanted, unless someone interrupted him, which thank God they did. If I felt uncomfortable.
But if he would have consented to having sex, what would have happened?
I'd be very hesitant at first.
Good God. Again, we've seen other guys say that. I was very hesitant to do this. It doesn't matter if you're hesitant if you still do it. I'd be very hesitant at first. Something Chuck tells me that you would have overcame that hesitation. There's nothing short of getting caught that would stop him. Yeah, maybe he would have been hesitant. So? You still would have done it. You're not even allowed to be there. He's basically admitting that it's a possibility. So these guys say that too, like, well, it was a 50-50 thing. Like, maybe it would have happened, maybe not. I would have tried not to. You can't drive over to a miner's house where the possibility of doing something illegal like that is a maybe or we'll see. Like, I think they still think that they haven't done anything wrong until they actually lay a hand on them. I don't think they think that until that point there's nothing illegal. They don't realize you can get charged for attempting to do it. You can get charged probably, I don't know what the rules are at this time in California, but a lot of places, just the chat alone is enough. They'll come and arrest you. There's no part of this that is okay. The second you reached out to that minor, you broke the law and you broke every moral code possible. And now he's coming over and saying, well, maybe it would have happened, but I would have been hesitant. And then he just thinks he didn't do anything wrong. I hate this guy.
If he continued, then possibly we would have had.
Possibly you would have had sex with him.
But
Go what?
if, I felt uncomfortable and I felt that he was,
Again, what? God damn it, I hate this guy.
Not fit or anything, I would have walked
Not
away.
fit?
Yeah, what do you mean not fit?
How can a 13-year-old boy be fit to have sex with a 65-year-old man? Don't you see an issue there?
Well, I see nothing wrong with cuddling and caressing.
Yeah, there's something wrong with cuddling and caressing. It's just part of the grooming process. It would start with that, and there's no way it would stop. And after Chuck's chat, there's no way he's not like I don't think he's going to take a long time to groom. He's not going to come over multiple times and escalate it each time. He's going to flat out do everything he wants to do that first meeting. Yeah, maybe it'll start with cuddling for like 5 minutes, and it's definitely going to escalate. There's no way that a guy who's been doing this his whole life and who's this sick and disturbed is going to stop it at caressing and cuddling. And who the fuck wants a grown man, like a 65-year-old man, cuddling and caressing their teenage kid? That is so. How could he possibly think that that's okay? He thinks normal people are going to be like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't say anything. No. Absolutely there is. You should go to prison just for doing that. You probably would. Like, God damn it. This guy is horrible.
You talk about a lot of other things besides cuddling and caressing. It's right here in black and white.
That's if things were to have...
If things what? If things had have gone in that direction, you would have steered it in that direction. You would have made sure, even if the boy was like, no, I don't want to do this anymore, you would have been like, no, come on. You would have talked him into it, and who knows, you might have just flat out forced him. There's no way that, like, he wasn't even giving him enough, he wasn't even answering his question when the decoy was like, shouted something out. He just like ignored them. He's like, I'm going to take a look around. You were in predator mode. You would have not taken that person's feelings into consideration in any way. You'd have just done whatever you wanted. Absolutely guaranteed.
Is not the age of consent. No matter what happened here, it's statute Chalk. Do you get that?
Okay.
All right, you studied for a religious order.
So you're going to arrest me, you're arresting me and booking me.
I can't arrest you. What do you think should happen to you?
Well, I know that I won't talk anymore on the internet anymore. I won't
That is a lie.
talk to anybody.
No, if you were let off the hook with a warning, he would be back on the internet probably that very night. Probably by the time he drove home, the fear would have subsided and he'd be back to doing this again. Guys that go to prison frequently get out and do this again. So there's no way that if he got off, we could trust him to not talk to anyone on the internet again. And even if he didn't, this guy is a pure danger to absolutely anyone. Children in the neighborhood, his family, like somehow he would have, this guy was like trying to become a teacher. He was part of a church. Like he purposely put himself doing things that would give him access to children. It might be a bit harder that he's 65 now because he can't really get a job. But he could find another church. Like they'll find a way somehow. There's nothing that will scare these guys. Like I don't think he gets the gravity of it. He thinks he's gonna get let off. And yeah, I promise I won't be on the internet anymore. I won't talk to anyone. You're allowed to talk to people on the internet, just not in this way and not to minors.
I'll stick strictly to my business, and that's it. I won't talk to any kids or anything else like that.
You sure seem experienced.
And when he says I won't talk to kids anymore, like it sounds like he's been doing this a lot.
Based upon this transcript I have here. How many other times have you hooked up with someone?
I got books that I read, sir.
Books?
I have, it's called Hand Jobs. It deals with younger, older, father, son.
Father, son?
Father, son?
Yes,
You're talking about fathers having sex with their sons, grandfathers having sex with their grandsons.
Doctors with their patients.
Like that is just fucking sick. The fact that this guy is into it and pretty quick into the chat, he brought up, like, hey, I could be your grandpa. So you could tell, like, he just likes that scenario. Guys like this don't deserve to live. And thankfully, he is gone from this earth.
With the young patients, employees with their young patients.
You talk about this like it's
Employees with their young patients.
some sort of hobby, building train sets. That's not what we're talking.
Yeah, I don't think Chuck. I think Chuck, he's normalized this in his own brain. This is just something he's into. This isn't that bad. He's been into this so long. He's part of these groups on the internet of other people doing this kind of shit. I think he just doesn't realize. I think he realizes on some level that it's illegal or people think it's wrong, but you could tell that he doesn't really get it.
Talking about here.
It's a book that I read and I fantasize. You know,
But you're not just fantasizing. You're actively seeking out underage people and driving to their house. You're trying to do this for real. This isn't a fantasy.
I thought, okay, we'll see.
How many other teenage boys have you hooked up with over the internet?
None.
Which is possible because, like, this was 20 years ago. The internet hadn't been around as long, and he was a much older man. So he probably, or he definitely didn't grow up with the internet. So he probably wasn't a savvy computer user at this time. But he did use it. So it's possible that I bet you he probably abused a hell of a lot of underage people his entire life. But he possibly didn't use the internet to meet them. He just met them wherever he met them. And is he putting up his right hand like he's going to swear? Like this guy's word has any fucking meaning?
Honest, I haven't hooked up. This is the first one that I hooked up with.
You know,
Well, you didn't actually hook up with him. You were busted before you got the chance.
I hear that a lot. Can you understand why I would be skeptical based upon this transcript?
You know, I can't tell you, because I haven't hooked up with any other kid on the internet.
Did you bring condoms?
I like how he puts on the internet. I haven't hooked up with another kid on the internet. Kind of saying he did, it just wasn't on the internet.
No. Search my body. I don't have
We're not searching your body, Chuck. No one wants to be near your body.
anything with me.
So what should happen to you?
Well, I know what I would kind of say, but I know that that's not what you're saying, so.
Well, yeah, obviously he's going to say I should just be let go with no consequences. But that's not the reality.
Do you ever watch television?
I watch news now and then. And some, like one program a night or something, like Seventh Heaven or.
Seventh Heaven? You mean the show where the dad on the show was a predator who preyed on minors and was exposed? that show?
Everwood or something like that, but it's not a regular.
Actually, I might do a commentary on that guy on Patreon because it's quite interesting. The guy who was supposed to be the wholesome dad of a wholesome family TV show, and it turns out that he's a disgusting predator.
Basis, no.
Well, I can't arrest you because I'm not a police officer.
Chuck should be like, you interested in buying a trailer by any chance? I'll give you a deal, $25,000.
I am Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC, and we're doing a story on computer predators. If there's anything else you'd like to tell us, we'd like to hear it. If not, obviously there's nothing I can do to keep you here, and you're free to go.
No.
Nothing else you'd like to say
No.
that would explain why you're here.
No.
Any other bullshit you want to feed us? Well, get the hell out of here, Chuck.
Thank you.
I'll take the picture.
I should call my mother and let her know that I got home safely.
Again, we see that a lot, like these mama's boys type guys, even when they're 65. It's almost like they didn't mature properly or something. I don't know. I'm not a psychologist. I don't understand the reasoning, but it's not the first time we see a lot of guys that take care of their sick mothers.
Well, that's going to be arranged through the jail.
Should be worried that I didn't get home. That was in
She might be worried that you're a huge, disgusting predator, too.
moved from her place.
All right. Well, looks like that's it for this part of it. Let's head over to the wiki page and find out what happened to Chuck Harding after this. All right. Arrest and death. Charles was charged with 3 felonies, and his bail was set at $500,000, making it one of the highest bail amounts in the history of To Catch a Predator, surpassed only by Greg Carnos, Michael Seibert, Robert Lyons, and Joshua Colon. Charles' computer was also seized, and investigators found CP and evidence that he was part of an exchange ring for 35 years. So that means like this was 20 years ago, so 35 years. So that was probably like he was a part of a CP ring before the internet existed. Charles died in jail awaiting trial a couple of weeks after his 66th birthday on August 10th, 2006, after he stopped taking blood pressure medication that was vital to the continued function of his heart. And something tells me he was not greatly missed. All right, let's check out the trivia. It says Chuck was employed at Frontier Airlines for a time and hired in 1967. His name and address was posted in one of their newsletters from the summer of 2006, but mentioned the email had bounced back, probably due to the fact that he was in jail at the time. There is also an unofficial memorial page for Chuck where employees have written about their memories of him. Handjobs was an illustrated monthly collection of stories in magazine format, and it ceased publication in 2014. And it is very disgusting, just like Chuck described. Perverted Justice made a new category called Other Resolutions in order to show his chat log because he died before he could be convicted. The same was done for Louis Conrad and Ernest Timmons, but not for any of the other predators that died before their conviction. On his podcast Predators I've Caught, Chris Hansen mentioned that when Harding said he was a member of the Order of John Bosco, the religious order, that it irritated him because he was helped out by members of the order when he was younger. Oh my God. So Chris could have almost had a confrontation with Chuck Harding back in those days. 4 other men in Charles' CP ring were arrested after his computer was seized and the information from it disseminated by law enforcement. So at least they caught other guys. Hansen considers Harding's early demise a shame, only because he testified and been convicted to confessed to more details, countless other men guilty of the same crimes would have been exposed and potentially arrested. So, yeah, it would have been nice to catch more guys, but at least they got 4, and at least Charles was, at least he ended his life being caught and exposed, and he is no longer with us, so I'm not going to shed any tears over him. Yeah, Charles, he's one of the worst. It just, he's just a terrible, terrible guy, but he got what he deserved in the end. So, all right, well, let me know if there's any other predators that you want me to cover or cover a second time, and I'll try to get to them. And thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you next time.